Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azri. In this video, we are going to discuss about how the past tax system are going to solve the current issue on the tax system. Shami, I have one question. What can the government reduce the wealth gap?
It's simple, by taxing the rich people.
But did you know that after the pandemic, most rich people net worth has become double, and people like us who are workers are given a constant salary despite higher cost of living.
I just realised after what you say, so the government have issue on the current tax system. So what can we do to cater this issue?
Okay, let's look at this video.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I'm going to explain or summarize about what are the past tax system implementation so that we can integrate it with current issues on tax implementation. So basically, how was the tax system during the early Muslim period? During the Prophet era, there are no tax implementation technically. But the only things that are called during that day is voluntary contribution and public borrowing. So later during the Caliphate period, Ghanimah and Kharaj are two of the biggest proportion of public income during those days. So we can see that tax is not the best option, yet it has to be the last resort of the government to implement it. Because according to Imam Ash-Shafi'i, if the government want to tax the people, it has to be under one condition, which is the government need to have insufficient reserve. So after the government have sufficient reserve, the government need to abolish the tax system. Alright, so because Imam Ash-Shafi'i opined tax system is a burden to the people. However, Ibn Hazm also supported this argument in his views of if the government want to implement the tax system, they should tax only the wealthy people so that we can absorb the wealth from the rich people and then we can distribute it to the poor people. So to integrate and relate the past tax system with the current tax system issue is that the first, in today's world, there are no ghanimah, there are no wars, so therefore there are no war spoilers during this day, which give a great difference between today and the past Muslim state situation. So the current tax system replace the whole or the proportion of ghanimah, which is burdening the people today. In order to lessen the burden of the society, in my opinion, tax system should be imposed only to the rich people so that, as I said before, we can absorb the wealth from the rich people and then we can distribute it to the poor using the medium of government. However, the rich people trend today or the corporate trend today is they are focusing on a way to reduce paying tax to the government. So basically by manipulating income statement, increase borrowed money, etc. This will result in inefficiency because the rich people, they don't pay enough or the actual amount of tax that they need to pay so that the government can distribute it to the poor. The second part of government role is the public finance, or we can say public expenditure. So basically, how were the public finance during the early Muslim period? How the government distribute the income to serve the public welfare? So basically, the biggest portion of public income goes to the military. It was important those days because it is to serve the protection of Muslim countries during that day, since there are wars, etc. So during Ali bin Abi Talib period, Ali bin Abi Talib ordered the government to empty out their government reserve because it is not a just act if there are still balanced reserve since they are using taxpayers' money. So in terms of serving the people's welfare, the government join or collaborate with the citizen or the businesses to help each other to serve the public welfare during those days. So to integrate the public expenditure during the golden age or early Muslim period into today's world is, since the world is drastically changing, we can say that the government today need to cater many things such as education, healthcare, poverty, development, etc. One of the things that can be portrayed as example is the Malaysian government budget, which we can see that there are so many proportion of expenditure that need to be catered. So although various tax implemented which burdens the society, the government still in budget deficit, which is they spend more than they get. One of the things that need to be highlighted is corruption on government, since they are using taxpayer money to benefit themselves. One of the thing that I can say is in Malaysia there are one MDB scandal, which they are using taxpayer money to benefit themselves, which resulted in inefficiencies to the society and the economy. So to solve this problem, one of the things that can be highlighted is that the rich people must contribute to the society more than they spend to themselves. Instead of they buying sports car, they buying a wealthy or big house, they should spend more on the poor people, which we can say that spend efficiently in helping the poor, not just giving monetary cash payment to the poor. Okay, so changing the mindset, instead of see paying tax as a burden to them, basically the rich, they must see paying tax as giving charity to the poor people. So even the initial purpose of tax implementation is to provide and enable the capacity of all citizens without exception. If rich people intentionally willing to contribute, then we just have to abolish the tax system, because if the rich people voluntarily contribute to the poor people, so we don't need tax system. So the rich can or the businesses or the corporate can collaborate with government in terms of what need to be done, what need to be prioritized, so they serve the community as a whole, and this will become voluntary contribution. So for instance, government can collaborate with the businesses to enable all citizens in terms of their education, healthcare and basic need, so that when they have this capacity to do to have access to healthcare, education, etc., they can become more productive, so they can work more to the businesses. This we can say as external benefit of investing in healthcare and education. So that's all from this video. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, so that how it goes.
The current tax system is different from the past. By integrating the issue with the past tax system implementation, we can derive new alternative in this current world. This will serve in reducing wealth gap by absorbing the wealth from the rich and distribute it to the poor.
Thank you, Azri, for the insight. I see you tomorrow.